This is Ray Davis and Jeff Glover in association with ARMA International. Now with John Isaza, new fellow of ARMA International. John, welcome.
Thank you.
I want to ask you a few questions, give people an idea of your background and your time through records management. I guess first off, what are your thoughts for becoming a fellow of ARMA International?
My thoughts. Well, really, the very first thing I thought of when I found out that I was selected was that Albert Einstein quote: "The more I learn, the more I realize how little I know." And you know, it's been the 10 years that I've been in the industry and over 20 years as an attorney, and I really do feel humbled to have been invited, because the more I've learned, the more I realize how little I know.
We understand you're in the legal profession. How did you get involved in records management?
Well, it really has to go back to when I graduated from college, believe it or not. When I graduated from college, I was deciding if I was going to go to law school or if I was going to go get a PhD in communication studies, which in my mind was information management. And my counselor said, well, you should go to law school, you're great at debating, and I'd been in the speech and debate team and all that, and everybody told me I should go to law school. And I went to law school and instead of going for my PhD, and wound up getting a law degree. And when you get your law degree, you come out and basically you're a carpenter. And you're stuck as a carpenter, and I was always pigeonholed as a litigator. And after the O.J. Simpson trial verdict came out, I was really kind of just really disappointed with the justice system, and sort of I was brought out and bushy-tailed, thinking I was going to make a difference, and I started getting really disenchanted with the profession and with the legal system as a whole. And so I quit and went to work at Merrill Lynch as an investment banker. And so that was basically jumping from the frying pan into the fire, which is a total different set of expectations. So I came back to law, and in the late 1990s, and when I went back into law, I took a survey. You know, one of those counselor surveys that they give you to match your personality with the profession that you're supposed to be in. So I was still here. I've been out for 10 years as a lawyer, still looking for my niche. And I took this survey, and the lady counselor that was evaluating the survey, she's like, I've never seen anybody that was more mismatched between their profession and what they do. The profession, of course, was as a trial lawyer. And so I that opened up my mind to be open to new opportunities. And one day I was working at a law firm. I was doing some work in Mexico, and I was approached to go do some international record retention research. And I quoted my hourly rate. They were like, yeah, we're not going to pay you this much to go do international research. And 6 months later, I sent out a blast email to all my contacts saying, you know what, I think I'm going to leave my firm. And somebody came from knocking on my door from Records and Information Management, and I know one of your questions is coming up, but I want to devote this entire next question just to him in particular.
And that question is, tell us about your journey through records management.
Well, okay, so it's not the next question. I think it's one of the questions about who was the most influential person to you in your career. And do you mind if we jump to that one first?
No, go right ahead.
And, actually, yeah, so if he is listening, he's a fellow, and his name is Jim Colson. And he came knocking on my door with the Records Improvement Institute. And at the time, he worked with a lady named Gail Penix, who was very respected, and she became my mentor when it came to doing the research. And sadly, she passed within, say, the first year of my career, and it really left an indelible mark. She did in particular, because she was just genuine, and just it was all about sharing of information. And then when I came to the first ARMA conference, it's what I found with the people. I found the same thing. I found Gail Penix's all over the place, and so it seemed like her spirit was everywhere. And Jim Colson. So between Gail, Jim, and ARMA in general, those have been the most influential in my career. I've worked very closely with Susan Cisco, another fellow, Juanita Skillman, other fellows, and these are people that I looked up to, and so they've kept me energized and really kept my motivation in the industry.
You know, John, it's an interesting story. Just like everybody else we've seen to find in records and information management, there was not really a direct path to get there. Everybody comes bringing their own unique perspective. Giving your unique perspective from the law and from some experience in financial services and some of the great mentors, you know, you named off 4 ARMA fellows, if I can count right there, that you've had the privilege of working with. What do you see today as the greatest challenge of records and information management?
Well, the greatest challenge, I mean, it's really obvious. It goes back to the fact that people cannot identify records management as a profession from the beginning, and that's because if you listen to the keynote speech this morning by the archivist, they're just now beginning to make records management a recognized profession, and I think it goes to the issue of sort of that identity crisis. So from within the records management industry, there's that identity crisis of how do you define a records manager? What is a records manager? Okay, that then morphs into a bigger problem, which is in this whole electronic world, this whole electronic universe. How do we fit into the scheme of managing electronic information, which has traditionally been an IT type of realm? So. I would say that the challenge is both an internal identity crisis and our ability to adapt to the electronic information governance issues that are out there.
To follow up on that point you just made, how do you see records management evolving going forward to adapt to both that identity crisis? I think you touched maybe a little bit on that as profession development, and how do we get our arms around this IT infrastructure, which is something that we haven't necessarily embraced?
You know, it's interesting because I'm a little conflicted about how to respond to that issue, because the word records has a bad connotation in a modern environment, or in any environment these days. It's almost like a bad word that means you're down in some basement somewhere, you know, or at Iron Mountain going through, or whatever vendor out there, Recall, whatever, going through boxes. And so I really hope, I don't know if this is necessarily where the industry is going, but I really hope that we start morphing away from records management into information governance. And I think that whether we call ourselves records management or information governors, governators, we're definitely going to be pushed in that direction, because it's all about information governance as a whole. I mean, I think where I was having this discussion with some clients last night, this whole declaration of a record versus everything else is kind of morphing, and it's very hard to distinguish all the information that's out there from just records. I think that definitely there's been an evolution.
How do you see ARMA International continuing to fit into that picture as this evolves in the years in the future?
And I love that question, because it really goes to the heart of why I love ARMA so much and why I love this industry so much. ARMA has been poised as at the epicenter of all this information governance. It's just, I was very lucky that I happened to be at the right place at the right time. I was very lucky that Jim Colson said to me, John, become known for electronic information. And ARMA is the professional association of these information governators, okay? And so ARMA is poised to be and continue to be at the epicenter, and also sort of the voice for the profession. Very important role in all of this, and it really provides a platform for people like myself and for vendors, and it's just an instant go-to place for professional records management.
What words of encouragement do you have for young professionals who may be considering a career and they don't know where they want to go, they're not sure what they want to get involved in, what words of encouragement can you give them to say, consider this profession as your own?
Well, you know, if you had told me when I was in law school that I was going to go into records management, you would have said, wow, you could make so much more money, you know, becoming a litigator, or a mergers and acquisitions attorney. If you are into a challenge and something that's cutting edge, this is where it's at. Information management, information governance is about as cutting edge as you can go. We're very lucky that our country is at the forefront of all the technology that's leading to all this great information governance. And so what do I tell kids? Do what you love and don't worry about it, the money will follow.
Now, John, it's been great. I've had a chance to interact with you on a couple of other occasions. You've done a great work for the industry. Duly recognized and well earned. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.